So let's get into today as we help you step your gram up on the latest episode of the Social Roundtable. Welcome everybody to our latest episode. Apologies about the little delay, little technical difficulties as always. It is a Monday, so we expect that sometimes. But we are glad that you are here joining us today to talk about some of the things that are currently working and not working on Instagram. We have a very special treat with our amazing guest who's returning probably like a second, third, fourth time onto the show. The first time, I believe, on our YouTube version of this. And of course, we have our incredible co-host, social media with Meg. What's going on, Megan?
Hello, I am so excited. We are all here. Everything's working out. We are going to just come with you so much positivity, so much good information, so many takeaways. So buckle up, get excited. We are so grateful to have Car here with us again. I think it's like your third or fourth time here with us.
Just I remember when you guys started these, and I was like, "This is so smart. I need to do this," and I never did it.
Well, you're pretty much another co-host here. You've been here so much. We're grateful you are here. If you guys are new to Car, she is absolutely incredible. She's a pro when it comes to teaching people how to take their magic and actually monetize, make those sales, and outlast all of the trends, all of the fads, and actually have a sustainable income through their social media and have that influence and connection with their people. So, Car, can you take a moment to introduce yourself to our audience, and then we will dive right in.
Yes, I'm Car Brulhart, and I am a marketing expert. I help people really bridge that gap between Instagram and sales. And what I've been doing recently is working with people, either coaches or service-based entrepreneurs, to help them bridge the gap, right, between posting content, creating content, writing emails, and actually converting. So I am a sales expert and messaging, as well as all the fun stuff on Instagram. And I've been doing this now for over 11 years with my own company now coming up on its 5th year anniversary. And I've done it all, guys. I've done the influencer kind of content creator route, which was really fun for 2 years. And then I switched more to kind of like coaching and Instagram growth strategy. And now I'm really sitting calm and confident in this selling energetics and messaging niche. So really happy to be here, and thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. We are so glad to have you once again. As we said, you are pretty much honorary co-host to the Social Roundtable. And we are glad that you guys that are watching are pretty much co-hosts as well, because you guys help us control the flow of what we talk about here on the show. Today, as I said, we are talking about what is and isn't working on Instagram today. Lots of rumors, lots of myths. Some things we've been able to prove work. Some things we got to kick away to the side because it's old school strategies and tips. So we're going to talk a lot about here today. This is our YouTube channel that myself and Megan do host every Monday at 3 p.m. I got to remember what time it is. 3 p.m. on the eastern side. But if you are not following just yet, please make sure you hit that subscribe button to our YouTube channel and hit a like button. As well as you might see the car is showing up her phone right now because we are also on IG Live, where we actually originally started. We used to have Car on before. We're also on IG Live at the same time also. So you can check out Car's page, who has the live going on. We're just like doing it all right now. It's just really fun and incredible. We're not going to delay anymore. We're going to get right what's working and what's not working on Instagram. Ladies, are you ready to get into this conversation here today?
I was born ready.
Awesome. Well, I am going to lead off the first question to our guest here today, and it's pretty much very standard. Pretty much, I kind of teed it up already. What are some Instagram strategies that no longer work? Pretty much, what are the don'ts of Instagram? I would love to hear you name at least one, Car.
Oh man. So the first one I'm going to say, because I still see this all the time, and I feel like I've been talking about this for a few years now because I already knew that this wasn't working, but I see people still really relying on it, especially my clients when they first come to me, right? They're the small business owners. They are less than 1,000 followers on Instagram, and they're pretty new to Instagram and selling in general. And so one thing that I'm seeing that I really want you all to stop focusing so much attention on, or any at all, are hashtags. And I know that this is a very controversial subject. I know a lot of people swear by hashtags, that they get really good results with hashtags, but the fact is that Instagram, the source, right, Adam Mosseri, the head of Instagram, has been telling us now, like specifically in posts, that hashtags no longer function the way they used to, meaning that they're not working to index our content. And more importantly, I think for the people that are still saying that they work, it's more that people are not using hashtags anymore as a form of discovery, right? So just take a look at the most recent update on Instagram. We now have a Reels tab and a DM like symbol, right, to send people to the DMs. And so content discovery is really happening on the Reels tab, still in the Explore page, and as well in the DMs. So I would say, instead of focusing on 10 to 15 minutes coming up with all of your hashtags for your post, focus more instead on what's happening in that reel, what's the text on screen, do you have a hook, do you have a spoken hook, a secondary visual hook, and are you giving people enough information in those captions for them to be able to index and qualify what that content is about? So that's what I want to bust. Hashtags don't work anymore in that sense.
I'm glad that you mentioned and you said that it doesn't work as it used to before, because they are still there available. I'm going to admit, Car, I actually still do use them, but I use them knowing that they're not really for, as you said, discovery. They're more for, as I think Adam Mosseri has stated, for categorization of your content. And that's a little bit more on the nerdy side, but it's not how like we used to use it before, because when I hear people tell me that hashtags still work, my first question to them is, when was the last time you used a hashtag to discover a piece of content? And they usually end up without an answer because they haven't used it themselves. I haven't used hashtags for discovery in a very long time. You can't even, if I'm not mistaken, Carl, maybe could you even still follow hashtags? I know you could before. Is that still?
I don't think you've been able to. I feel like Meg would know this better, but I don't think you've been able to for years now. I think they removed that.
I think it was like a year or so ago that they stopped that. However, I will say, if I still go like on my husband's account, he was following hashtags. I can see that he's following them, but he doesn't see them. So you can't like search new ones and follow them, and they also don't show up in your feed of like, hashtag whatever with the post.
Interesting. Well, that is definitely one that we have to, as Carl suggested, stop utilizing in our Instagram strategy, because it's not working how we used to use it before. It's a great one to add to the list first, Carl. Megan, how about you? What's the one that you want to say people should probably stop using in regards to our Instagram strategy? One of our don'ts.
Yes. So I feel like in our world, we hear this one all the time. So I was almost hesitant to bring it up, but when I'm talking, I was just around, like 500 like newbies this past weekend when it comes to social media, especially Instagram. And they reminded me, they still are really relying on this. Okay. So I feel like it's still very important to talk about how the follow, unfollow, or just following people, even if you're not choosing to unfollow them, but following in hopes to get a follow back, just doesn't work anymore. People don't look at like their notifications the same way that they used to, number one. So if you follow me, I might not see that unless it's like that priority section. And even so, like, I don't just go back over and follow just because you followed, right? Like, we are understanding that we follow the content that we really want to see and the people that we feel connected to. And I think a lot of people feel like, oh, they just followed me clearly just to see if I would follow them back, or they just, engagement bombed my stuff, like
the 30 likes.
Yeah. Right. The random,
like, oh my God, I'm going viral. And it's like one person I've never talked to in my life.
Right. Number one fan out of nowhere. Or, those like 3 comments that they say like, great, love this, like, but it's so random. First interaction you've ever had with them. It's just people are catching on to that. And it's not, energy is felt through that screen. So it's not going to last if you're relying on that. That being said, I do think there's a caveat there. It is important to know if you're like a local business, heck yes, you should be following other local things that kind of mix in with your niche that you can build real relationships with. Or even if you're not doing local and you're actually just connecting with other people in your niche, yeah, follow people and hopes of building a network, of actually building real relationships, and eventually they may follow back. So there's definitely power in building relationships through following certain people, but don't rely on just because I followed you, you're going to follow me back.
Can I add something to that? Because I feel like I'm like nodding here. They're like, you're not supposed to nod apparently in camera training. And I'm always like,
Me too.
But yeah, in case you don't see me nodding, I am agreeing with everything. I'm trying to like contain myself. But what I wanted to add is that also when we're engaging, right, these relationships are taking way longer to turn into something. So I will have people that buy my mastermind and they have been in my DMs 3 years ago. And when I go back, I might not necessarily remember the conversation we had, right? Like who can even remember what they ate for breakfast 3 weeks ago, right? And so I go back in and I'm like, holy crap, like we already talked. There's already a relationship here. There's already been some nurturing, but it's just taken people a lot longer to take a purchase decision. And I feel like that's something else we can talk about later, but that totally relates to what you said, Meg, that it's just like we're interacting, we're engaging differently.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, Kark. I think a lot of people don't realize that it takes a lot to actually get the person sometimes through the funnel, the trust, like, the know, like, trust factor. And sometimes it can happen very quickly. Like I've heard some people, they might even jump some of the steps. And it just, because somebody else might have sold them on you, they kind of skip some of the steps and they're immediately ready to purchase. But then for most average people that we talk to or we engage with, it takes a very long time. It's not as simple as, okay, they see our content and then they're going to love us and then they follow us and then they're our favorite customer. It doesn't work as easy as like that. That sounds like a Pixar movie. It's not all nice and roses and everything is happy and la la. We had to put in a little bit of work. I think if I remember now, they said, I think it was Google that said that there has to be about 11 touch points before the person truly recognizes you. And that could be via video, it could be via DMs, it could be via carousels, and that's just Instagram. When you start adding in like email and then podcasts, there's a lot. So to go back to what Megan shared, I think that's great that you talked about that in regard to the follow aspect, which is so hard to believe that people still practice that. It's like Instagram is what, 15 years old now, 10, 15 years, and it's like people are still practicing these strategies no matter how often we tell them not to. But as Megan mentioned, these are a lot of new people to the platform. So I can see why this strategy continues on in so many ways. But that's a great one to add on. And you kind of touched on one that I was going to bring up too, Car, in regards to the likes, because people do that a lot. They just like 10 of your last comments, and they'll do it within a minute. And it's so obvious you didn't like pay any attention, you didn't read the caption, you did it all within a minute. I was going to share that one. But I'll go with another one that I'm sure that you guys still suffer from, unfortunately, which is one of the reasons why they keep changing our DM inbox. The one I'm going to talk about is cold DMs. I am so sick and tired of getting these cold DMs where people, first of all, they act like they know you or have had a conversation with you, and they almost just like continue the conversation, but there was none prior. And then,
I haven't got that
yet. Really? I get those scam calls and now I'm getting them in DMs. And I'm just like, who are you? Like, I know I did not delete a previous DM where we had this conversation. And then they'll like sometimes ask you a certain question for you to say no or yes. Because once you do, that gives them via Instagram, it gives them the ability to continue the conversation in the DMs. So they'll ask you like a certain question. And I'm just like, I'm just so tired of these cold DMs. I understand if you want to try to get to know me, maybe via my IG story, and I might get a DM. But just a cold DM there is just like absolutely no history prior. And all of a sudden now we're in this conversation as if we've already been speaking. I just don't understand it. And I don't think I ever will. So I'm hoping that more people understand that cold DMs, they just don't work, no matter how easy it is to create them, because a lot of people are now using automated solutions to do that. they just simply don't work. And if anything, I feel like they do more of a negative. They put a more of a negative tone on your reputation more than a positive one. I'm sure you guys are still getting some of these cold DMs, right?
Lots.
Oh yeah.
The ones
Yeah.
that really bother me, I haven't got those weird conversation ones, but I'll get ones that are like, "Hey, Car, can I ask you a question?" And I'm like, "No." Or the ones that are like, "Are you currently selling your program right now?" Or like, just the dumbest questions, and it makes me so angry. Like, it's such a waste of time. I will be like devil's advocate and say that I feel like there's like different levels of cold DMing that are acceptable and even, in fact, tolerable. And for example, my VA that's been with me now for over 4 years cold DM'd me on Instagram, but it was such a thoughtful, well-written DM. And it wasn't a waste of my time that I actually decided to book a call with her. And she's been with me ever since, right? And so I feel like there's different ways that you can utilize the DMs for selling. And I utilize the DMs for selling and outreach when I'm in an open cart or a launch. And I will cold DM somebody that I've never had a conversation with. But there's a lot of context. There's a lot of like research that's gone into that DM. It's not just me being like, "Hey, did you know that I have a program and you can like grow your followers and earn your first 10K months?" It's like, no. Like, it's honestly, the way I want you to think about it is like it's a follow-up to another touch point that person already had with you.
Yeah, and I'm so glad you brought it up to that level, and I stand corrected in regards to that because there are different levels to cold DMs, and the ones that I'm more thinking of is exactly the ones we kind of described. Whereas this is like they're trying to just easily sell you on something, whereas the method, the strategy that you're utilizing, you're it is a cold DM, but you're starting a conversation rather than just going for the lead. Like there's a
Yeah.
difference in regards to that, and that's why I mentioned like if you were I've practiced the idea of talking to somebody that I've never spoken to before, but what I would do is I would go to their IG story and start the conversation relative to something that I see in their IG story. You know, if they're at a restaurant eating pizza, I'm like, what is your favorite pizza? And you can't say cheese. That immediately, it starts a conversation. And something silly like that that they can relate to. It relates to something they just posted, but it's not like I'm gonna go to their IG story. They have a picture of them eating pizza, and I'm like, well, do you know that I sell this program? It has nothing to do at all with the photo.
Yeah, that's such a good example. And I feel like Heston's so good in the DMs. Like, he was so good at responding back to like my stories, and then we start chatting and we get kind of back in touch. And it seems like such a low lift way to keep the community element of Instagram, the social element of Instagram, and just kind of like remind people like, hey, I'm still here. Like, I still want to talk to you and know you, even though maybe we're not collaborating, maybe we're not working together or anything at all, right? I think that's like the most genuine form of engagement, and I think you do it so well, Heston.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, now I know we kind of covered some of the negative aspects of things that people are doing on Instagram, but there are some good strategies that we do want to remind you guys that there is out there that does help you grow. It does help you sell. It does help you engage even more on Instagram. So we're going to get into that in just a moment with our special guest here, Carr, and our co-host Megan. But we'll have to remind you guys, please, if you are not subscribing just yet to the channel, please make sure you hit that subscribe button and join us so you can never miss any other future episodes of the Social Roundtable here with myself and Megan, as well as I have links for all of us, myself, Megan, and Carr, directly to our YouTube channels and Instagram, as well as Carr. I'm going to put you on a blast right now. Carr does a very special program, the social department, where I won't get into the details. I'm going to give you an opportunity to get into the details exactly. But if you guys do want an opportunity to check that out as well, I do have that link in the YouTube video in the descriptions as also. So make sure you check out all of our respective and relative links after the live. Don't miss out on the rest of our conversation because we're now going to move over to some of the good strategies that you can utilize on Instagram. And I'm going to go to you first again, Carr, in regards to this question. What
Got a
are
whole
some
list.
What's that? Yeah.
I have a whole list.
Oh, you came ready. You came prepared.
Like, where do we
So
start?
go ahead. Let's go. What are some Instagram strategies that work? Let's discuss the do's of Instagram.
Yeah. Okay, so you know how I'm like all about sales, right? Like I want people to be able to use Instagram as a platform for freedom. I want them to use it as a way to start living the life that they want to offline. It's all very, very counterintuitive. But what's working right now is talking about your offer for 14 to 21 days straight. And so
Mm,
what does that look like? It looks like a regular kind of profile grid. Like it's not going to look like a really template campaign, or like that every piece of content looks the same or has like overt salesy messaging like sales or last chance or 14 days left, right? Like we are not Costco. We do not need to like put banners 50% off, last chance for these pants. Like people are creating content following a really simple storytelling structure where they're talking about a win that they had or they got for somebody else. They're telling their origin story, their why, what they're doing, why they're doing it, and then they're talking about their product or their service. And that can look like so many different pieces of content, not just reels, but also carousels. It can also look like talking in your stories on the days that you don't feel like showing up in the feed or creating content. And the trick here, though, is to constantly talk about the next step that you want somebody to take in your funnel. So talk about your offer. For example, if you do one-to-one coaching, that's the easiest thing to sell. So you should be talking about your one-to-one offer every single day. And I challenge you to do it for 21 days and then report back to us and let us know how that went. Because I have people in the program that Destin mentioned, the social department, that do this. And on day 2, day 4, day 6, they're making sales. And it's so simple, but I really want to remind everybody that Instagram is a freaking hot mess right now. Like, look at the volume, right? The volume of content. Before we got on this live, we were talking, Heston and Meg and I, we were like, so how are you doing? Like, how's it going? Because it is wild out there. And like, nobody is seeing anything anymore. It has gotten so diluted. So you need to really be talking about your message over and over and over and over again in different angles, different formats, educational, entertaining. Like the sky's the limit to where your creativity can be, but don't ever stop talking about that offer. So challenge yourself 14 to 21 days where you talk about one offer, the same offer in a row, and you're going to make sales. That's working right now.
that's great. I like that. You mentioned the different formats, which we kind of touched on a little bit earlier too, but I think it makes more sense as you brought it up because we're creators and we get into this funnel
Mm,
where we're thinking about our offer, and we think because we put out a post once, all of our followers see it, so we don't need to bring it up again. And I think the way you're describing it, to continue talking about it, I think that makes a lot of sense because it works in two different ways. You as a creator, it helps you perfect your craft in regards to your product, your service. You're learning and getting experience in regards to the way that you are discussing it and bringing it up and the questions that people ask you. You are now becoming a professional in everything around it, as well as people don't. We think our followers are going to get tired of it. Majority of them don't see it the first time. They probably don't see it the second time. So the more you talk about it, you're reaching more and more of your followers, and it works out that it just creates this ever growing mass of people that's starting to learn about your product, your service. And you're doing it in so many dynamic ways, as you mentioned, with different formats. I feel like that's a genius in regards to challenging them to do it for 14 or 21 days. I love that. Megan, in regards to what Carl just shared, how would you relate in regards to this? And what are your thoughts?
110%, right? We have got to show up and we have got to, share our message and really, hone in here. What Cara just shared is she's not saying get and do like a poster, like addy, spammy looking post every day, like buy my thing. She is sharing that you should show up in different ways, different formats with different levels of value. Like there are going to be times where you are saying, yay, doors are open, buy blah, 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 or yay, the sale is here. That's fine. That's great. But she's also saying, you know, sharing your message, sharing your purpose, sharing, you know, how you or your clients or, you know, your students, whoever you're servicing, got from point A to point B, and how that person that's viewing and engaging or reading also can do that with your service. So it's talking about it in different ways and bringing people along in this journey and instilling that belief, because they need to know that you really believe in your product or service, right? And if you just talk about it once, okay, cool, like forgot about it. So I totally agree with that. Thank you so much for that point. For my Instagram this is hard because even though there's a lot of don'ts, there's a lot of do's too. And Cara and I were talking about this before we got on, how there's a lot of do's for different types of niches, different types of creators right now. And what works for one may not work for another. But at the end of the day, the reason why something works is kind of across the board. So what I'm saying here is anything that you can do to keep somebody on the platform longer and get people to connect on like that human to human level is going to help you with Instagram. And so that brings me to what my specific do is kind of what Heston was saying. Actually, you kind of stole my do with a don't. But no, it's good, because what you were saying is instead of cold DMs, going to stories and replying to stories to get to DMs. If you can get into DMs, you can start conversations with more people and you can have more frequent touch points with those people. Even though, yes, Instagram reach is all over the place right now, it's still going to favor the person who is contacting other people in the DMs, who is connecting, who's creating real conversation, and showing Instagram like I'm being social on social media. I'm having real interactions, and that sometimes can be automated. So that does come down to having automated posts and content where you are getting people into the DMs to send them something or connect with them. But also the simple action of just responding to people's stories, engaging on their polls, actually caring about what they're posting and doing it consistently. So it's not just that one time that you've, responded to something. Obviously, you're not responding just to respond, or you're not just doing it to like check it off the list. So you find those people that you do really enjoy watching their content, their stories, and you're going to want to say something. Your connection gets stronger and stronger every time. And I've built so many relationships and great friendships from social media because of stories and just responding. And it helps you get seen in their feed and get pushed out to more of their followers and more like accounts.
Exactly. Did you have anything else that you wanted to add to that, Cara, in regards to what Megan just shared?
No, that's like everything you said. I agree. I'm like,
but I am actually, before I pass. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just going to say that, like, I feel like I'm having deja vu, because what you're saying today, we were telling people back in 2021. It doesn't really change too much. Like, as much as we think Instagram is changing constantly and like it's so hard to keep up with the algorithms and all that, like the fundamental foundation pieces are still going to be the same year over year. And that's how the developers are thinking. That's how Meta's thinking. Like, they're not trying to change a product that works and is sticky, but they're going to try to accelerate different ways to, like Megan said, keep people on the platform longer. So really thinking about how can we do that ourselves in a human way? Because I think like right now, we're really up at odds, especially my community, people who are following me and are in my world. Like, we don't want to do stuff just because freaking Meta says so. We actually hate millionaires, and we don't want to help them. We want to help ourselves. And so like, I feel like we have to find ways to utilize Instagram and social media apps in a way that's actually beneficial to us instead of to the machine. So you'll hear me talk a lot about that.
That's a good way to put it. That's a really great way to put it. I'm sorry, you wanted to add on something else, Megan?
Yeah, I was just curious from everyone in the audience, you give us a thumbs up, thumbs down. Have you ever started a conversation with somebody via the stories? So just responding to their stories, simple things that they posted, and you had something to say to connect and just start a conversation, whether it was intentional or not. Have you replied to a story to get that DM started?
I do that all the time. I prefer stories over feeds. Not to say that I'm not into feeds, but the story is like, it's like a moment from that person's current, whatever they're doing, wherever they are, and it's them giving you a sneak peek into regards to what their current life is. And if you could comment on it, hopefully in a positive way, shed some light, shed some positivity, some support, I feel like that goes a long way because people are more likely to remember that moment where you took a moment and shared something in the DMs, more than an emoji, please. The emojis are great, but just share something a little bit more than that. And you responded to what they shared. I think they received that and accept that more than just the comment to the post. It's a little bit more personal. At least that's the way they're looking at it because they shared a moment of their life that was not perfect compared to the content that we put in the feed, which is generally touched up and is, I there to present a perfect look. So I definitely prefer starting those conversations in the DMs from IG stories. I feel like this was fun.
Love
Well,
that.
well, I got a couple thumbs up in the comments. That's awesome. You guys are definitely here that would love to actually start conversations in the DMs. That's awesome. I'd love to see that. Um, Speaking of DMs, I'm going to kind of touch on that a little bit. And Megan kind of shared exactly what I was going to add for my do. And I think you guys might know where I'm going with this because I do specialize in DM automation. And I feel like over the last few years, Mosseri, once again, the CEO of Instagram, has continued to state that DMs is one of, if not the number one most successful surface. They call it surfaces on Instagram that they get a lot of growth, from either reels being shared, sharing communication. If you really look at most of Meta's products, it all to any degree, it's all about communication, whether it's WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram. It's all really the foundational element, as Megan and Cara was talking about. If you go back to the foundations, you know what they want, and it's generally just communication. But if you could utilize that to benefit yourself, why not? And I think that utilizing automation, DM automations, no matter which product service that you're using, I think you'll be able to take a lot of advantage from that in so many ways that will help you actually grow, sell, and engage more without taking too much of your own time. But I'm not advising you to do it in a way that it replaces you. People are not following you for your chatbot. They're following you for you. The chatbot should serve as, most people say with AI, as an assistant. So you want it to kind of be your assistant. I sometimes say it should be your employee of the month, but because it's automated, it should be an employee of the month every month because it's doing exactly what you don't want to do on a regular. If somebody stops you, such as a storefront, a local storefront, and I know one of the questions they get all the time is, what are your hours? Where are you located? What is your address? Could you imagine if you have to stop and answer that question at least 10 times a day on Instagram? No, let a chatbot take care of that for you. So you could take that time and devote it into something else, another part of your business where you're actually needed. So I think if we utilize DM automation in really smart ways, strategic ways, I know Manychat just actually introduced that new feature, follow to DM, which is great. I think it's a great feature. I'm testing it out myself, but at the same time, you don't want it to fully replace you. If you could go in there after somebody does follow you and the message is sent, and then go in there and send a voice message, you really just touched a nerve right there with the person that they're not gonna forget. They're gonna be like, oh, this person he's using automation, but they're also going the next step to make it personal because in that same voice message, you might mention their name. You might mention something that you saw on their IG story, something along those lines. So you want to make sure that you're utilizing it in balance with adding yourself to the conversation.
That's
Yes.
so spot on, Heston. Like when I started just about 5 years ago, it was, and I feel like this is really relevant to everyone listening on the lives. a lot of us, when we're starting, we don't have an audience. Like we've got maybe 36 followers, 120 followers, 500 followers, right? And every single person that hit that follow button for me 5 years ago, I would send a voice note to. And if it wasn't a voice note, it was a message. And I already had a script. So Instagram will save your scripts in the DMs, but I would adjust it based off of things that you just talked about, Heston. And those people that I DM'd have stayed with me for life and became clients that are repeat buyers. So yes, do that. Do it with Manychat, do it with Stan auto reply, or do it manually in the beginning when you're still small. It's going to go a really long way.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I was going to actually, my other do that I almost used was going to be sending voice notes and actually like talking or video or whatever it might be, just more personal than just like, text definitely works 100%, but automated voice notes, not automated, just regular voice notes still are so powerful because people just, they're like, wow, it's a human. This is great. I'm actually talking to somebody. And what Heston said, though, is you can really get more bang for your buck when you do both together. You have that automation and that personal touch.
Oh yeah, we definitely had a lot of things that we had discussed for you guys in regards to strategies that work and some that don't. I really hope you guys were started from the beginning, took notes, you had your pens and papers out, because I think we shared so much here between myself, Meg, and Carr, that you guys should be able to take a lot of what we just revealed to you guys, because it's things that we've learned from our own experience and with our clients, and go ahead and take everything that we just shared and covered, and as I always say, step your gram up in the best way possible moving forward. But now with what you know, what is and is not working on Instagram, because as Carr said, Instagram is crazy. We don't know what is
she's a
coming
hot
out
mess. Like she's going through something.
I you know what I'd like to say? I say it's a teenager. Technically Instagram is a teenager, so it's going through that point in time where it's a little bit confused, trying to find itself. It's
hormonal.
Yeah.
Really hungry all the time. Like wants more sleep, joint pain.
Yeah, it doesn't know what it wants, honestly.
Kind of like my 3-year-old son, to be honest.
Well, we hope you guys like that part of our conversation in regards to everything that we just shared. But as you guys know, when we like to do in this show, and Carr is no stranger, we like to have a little bit of fun with our special guests. So Megan is going to lead us in a game that myself and Carr are going to answer some questions to. But obviously, we would love for you guys to take part in as well. So if you're in the live chat, you have an opportunity to comment and share some of your own answers and opinions. Megan, it's all yours.
Awesome. All right. So going to go around the circle here of would you rather, just choose A or B, which one? Just choose, because it's always easy, right? But would you rather, number one, Carl, I'll go to you first. A, have to post every day for a year, or B, have to go live every week for a year?
Honestly, A.
Okay.
Really?
I would rather go live every week than post every day. I do not post every day. Go to my feed, you'll see it. I will post every day when I'm in an open car or a launch, but I don't subscribe to that.
So you'd rather go live once a week?
I think so. But now that I say it, I'm like, wait, no, because I could automate the posts and schedule them. So I'm like, I want to change my answer.
She erased the answer and placed it in the other one.
Like if it's a human that has to do everything, I would go live every week. If I have like tools and software, I would post every day for a year.
Well, I can't really, tell you that you can't work smarter, not harder. So you can definitely.
Yes, we're posting every day.
That was straight thinking.
Yes, Heston, what would you say?
That. I think I'm gonna. I want to keep the live. I would. The idea of even if it's automated, that sounds like a lot of work. I've done. I think I told you, Carl. I've done it. I had an account. It was a fitness-related account, and I had actually automated for an entire year ahead of time, which was great because once I did it, I no longer had to think about that account. It had everything ready for an entire year. but that was about 2 to 3 months of work just to get that year's worth of content.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I want to go through that again. And I think I like live. Like we're live right now. Once this is done, it's uploaded, it's on YouTube. The same thing applies to Instagram. For those of you guys watching on IG Live, you guys are enjoying us, conversating, talking. And once it's done, it's done. So I think I'm going to keep live and get rid of posting every day.
We have some responses in our live too. Like Aldine listens
What did
to
it
go
say?
live every week for a year. Susie just laughed. Travel the Joyway says post. Yeah.
Variety. I
Wow.
love it.
Right?
I see a few in the live chat saying B also. They would get rid of B, I'm guessing, is what they're saying.
Okay. Yeah, it's so, it's so interesting what we enjoy doing different and how we want to fit it into our overall strategy. I think that I would have to say I would rather post every day. I don't know, because I like going live. I don't, and like going live's not hard. It's hard. But I think posts because I would enjoy the creativity of different styles of posts versus lives, even though you can get creative on live too. But it's definitely a hard question. So thank you everyone for your answers there. The second would you rather is, would you rather be banned from posting Instagram stories for a year or banned from replying to Instagram stories for a year? Car, what would you say?
Oh my
That's
God, this is
difficult.
actually tricky because I'm like, when I reply, if I can't reply, can I still DM people?
Yep.
Okay, so then I'd like to be banned from replying.
Okay, Car, you can't just like work around all of these questions.
Wait, yeah, she's okay. Hold on, she's calling me.
Sorry, like that's how my brain works. It's like constantly in overdrive. Like I'm like reading 6 books at the same time. It's too much, and I don't have ADHD, which is surprising to me.
You're super intelligent, I guess.
No, there's a lot of things, a lot of stuff.
Oh, I love it. Yes.
What would you say?
Preston, what would you say?
First off, that's a really hard question. That's a really difficult one. I'm gonna not post I'm gonna not post IG stories. I would rather reply to IG stories.
Whoa.
Yeah, I guess I can see that for you. Yeah. And then we're not gonna, get the random pictures of your dog. I mean, I'm gonna miss that.
No, you will, because I'll be going live every week.
Oh, so I just have to join in live. Okay.
I'll be
live every week.
Okay, we're all going around these answers now. I love that. Okay, I think I would be banned from not being able to respond to reply to stories because I love stories so much. And like what Car said, that's a good one. I didn't even think of it. I can still DM them, be like, saw this on your story. And
going in.
Thinking outside the box.
Yeah. So any responses in the comments, let us know. What would you do, A or B? But thank you so much for playing along there.
Awesome. I'm glad to see that a lot of people were tuning in also to the IG Live that Car is hosting. That's awesome. I'm gonna say something that might be a little bit controversial.
Ooh.
I was gonna say it for the don't portion of our conversation. We all met on IG Lives. We've had our collaborations. I don't think IG Lives work as they used to before. I put them under the same shelf as hashtags. They don't work like they used to before in regards to growth. Instagram doesn't even support it as much, unfortunately. I still think they're cool, and I still think Instagram has an opportunity to make it even better. But they're so focused on short video that I think that they're missing a great opportunity. Like Car right now is live on her phone. I mean, just think about like 15, 20 years ago, that concept that you could go live on your phone and just have it, everybody join in was really unheard of. And you're just doing it so easy right now that we're live on a phone, we're live on a computer, and people could chime in and share their opinion. They feel like they're part of the conversation. I feel like Instagram really has a great opportunity to do something really, really great. But YouTube and TikTok are unfortunately eating their lunch. in regards to live streaming.
I love
Instagram,
that.
please, if you hear this, please,
You
let's
know
do
what's
something
crazy?
with
It's like,
IG Live.
yeah, I used to go live once a week. Like it was part of my growth strategy and
remember.
always find someone new to go live with. And then it just kind of stopped working. Like we were all kind of like cannibalizing ourselves. I don't know. It was really weird. And now what I do is I only go live really if there's something special like this, which I'm just doing this as an experiment. It's working. Like my audience is here commenting. People are loving it. They're loving you guys. But I go live now exclusively when I'm in a launch. And I do it to talk about my offer, to talk about what's in it, to go behind the scenes. Like I've been actually grabbing the phone and like actually showing people like screens and like what I'm up to. And like I'm like taking them with me. And then the other day I started following this woman. I don't know her name. I just found her. She's this blonde, like super, super multi-millionaire lady. Like she's more like an advisor, but she went live the other night and it showed up and I was like, oh, weird. Like I wouldn't have expected her to go live. Like it doesn't seem like she would be a live person. And in that live, she was just taking off her makeup and chatting to like over 150 people about her day in corporate. And she was kind of like reading the comments and like responding to some as she wanted to, but it felt very much like, okay, I'm learning from this person, but in a really raw, natural way. And it's not like she's like put all her lights up. Like she's literally in one of the most vulnerable places, like taking off makeup in her pajamas in her bathroom. And it was fascinating. And I learned some things and I even DM'd her after that. So like, I think it kind of like brings us full circle to what we talked about in the beginning, which is like, we want to get in people's DMs. We want to create relationships. Sales cycles are way longer. People's trust is just like at an all-time low. So if you can add more touch points into your content strategy, then you're golden. And lives, I think, could be really good for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was going to say that
Awesome.
caveat too, for sure. That like, I mean, I think that lives for growth, not working right now, but lives for building the connection and sales. I mean, you could have 5 people watch your live and somebody is more likely to buy than if your reel goes viral and you know, different touch points and different depth of that connection. So obviously it depends on what you are selling or what you're promoting, but the people who are there on your live usually have more know, like, and trust, and they really are there for the meat of what you're discussing.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad that we kind of went on that little rabbit hole in regards to live because I think we all love live. So, you know, we all did it on our Instagram. We're doing it here on YouTube. Maybe you guys watching have done live yourself as well. But we'd love to know. Put a quick thumbs up in the comments or the live chat if you have. But we're pretty much at the end of our conversation here with our guest, Car. We spoke all about what is and isn't working on Instagram. We shared about 3 tips on both sides, and we would love for you guys to get back to us. Slide it to the DMs because we're talking about all about DMs today. Slide back into our DMs and let us know what resonated with you most during our conversation. We would love to have a conversation in the DMs as well with you guys to talk a little bit more about what you may have learned and any questions you may have. I want to give Car a moment right now to kind of share where people can find her and what is she up to so that our audience could definitely follow her along with the link that we have at the bottom of this video in the description. So Car, please, what have you been up to? What's going on and where can the good people find you?
My gosh, what have I been up to? Well, I'm living in Mexico City since none of you see my content. It's been 2 years, guys. We live in Mexico now. Time to come back and check. And I am actually a lot into Substack right now. So I've started a new Substack. Yeah, I'm going to be doing a lot of like kind of like release on Substack instead of on Instagram as a first point of like contact. Loving that. And I am also going to be rebranding and renaming my signature mastermind. So we all know it as the social department, but we're in the midst. Like today, I have to pick the name and I'm really stuck. So I might actually ask you all in my stories to vote. So we're rebranding it because we realize that it's like my passion is really not figuring out how to grow an insane amount of people on Instagram, but it's actually how to get people freedom through businesses that are profitable using Instagram as one piece of their marketing. So that's what I'm up to. Rebranding, exploring Mexico City, thinking about a third baby, thinking about a puppy. Like all this stuff is happening.
So not too much, right?
Not too much. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. We're so glad to hear everything is working well with you and your business. I'm really interested to see what the name that you select from, because since I've known you, it's been the social department. So I'm interested to see which way you go in regards to that. And I have to say, I visited your webpage. I don't know if you've got a recent change, but I love your webpage. Your webpage is really,
Yeah, that's
really
Go
well done. I
High
love it.
Flyer. Yeah. Go High Flyer Powerhouse,
Awesome.
I believe is her handle. We did that last summer, Heston. Again, no one sees anything. Like, how dare you? That rebrand happened last summer. But no, it's fun, right? And like you can talk about these things and you can remind people, right, that you've been doing these things, not just because you talked about it once.
Yes.
Exactly. Awesome. How about you, Megan? Where can the good people find you as always, and what are you up to?
Well, you can find me on Instagram, Social Media with Meg. Also, posting a lot more health, wellness, fitness, overall mindset and growth on my personal page, just Megan Harriman. Come follow me there. And Threads, YouTube, all the places, hanging out. Heston and I hang out here. Actually, it's going to be changing a little bit. Well, I'm not telling you all the things, but we are just here with you live every Monday at 3 p.m. So come hang out with us here at the Social Roundtable.
Yes, indeed. Awesome. And thank you guys for joining us. If you're looking for me, once again, all the links are in the bottom of this page, of this video. I am on Threads, on Facebook, not Facebook, Instagram, I'm talking about Facebook, YouTube, and we're now hanging out majority of my time, honestly, is on Skool. I've opened up a Skool group. It's Manychat Skool, where I'm teaching everything about DM automation. I'm sharing templates. My first template is going to be releasing this week. So if you guys are interested to learn more about the full potential of Manychat and just DM automation and chat marketing, that's where you can find me. So look for that also. But yeah, this is a great conversation as always. I knew Carl was going to bring all of the great information and fun, and we're so glad that we had you here today. And we definitely gotta bring you on again onto the Social Roundtable.
Anytime. I love it. I love hanging out with you guys. I just feel like we're hanging out, and you have to come to Mexico and hang out on my roof, and we can do this real and live IRL.
The Social Roundtable goes to Mexico. All right, we got it. We got it booked, guys.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys all for joining us, and we hope to see you in the next episode. Later, guys.
Thank you. Bye. Awesome.